At sa puntong ito mga kanyusik, para tulungan po tayo sa ating talakayan, mayroon po tayong makakasama ngayong umaga. Isa pong political analyst, si Professor Amir Solon Sison. Magandang umaga po, Sir Amir.
Good morning po.
Sir Amir?
Hello po. Hello po.
Yes.
Aray ko ba ako?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Loud
Good
and
morning
clear.
po.
Kasama niyo po, Darlene and Daryl.
Morning po.
Yes po. Sir, pinag-usapan po namin ngayong umaga, yung dahil nga po ngayong July 6, yung day 1 ng impeachment trial po ni BP Sara. Sir Amir, ano po yung karaniwang aasahan sa unang araw po ng isang impeachment trial?
Well, usually this is just the siguro may introduction and of course the preliminary presentation, parang how they're going to present paano ba to? Yung parang how they're going to present the process, and at the same time siguro kung what to be expected, the whole procedure or whole 92 or 93 days the impeachment court. So basically this is going to be a day for introductions for both sides, and maybe including the senator judges.
Prof, may iba kasi sa ating mga kababayan na for sure una nilang papansinin dyan, syempre gusto nila na maintindihan maigi yung mga magiging proceedings. Parang ang nakalagay ata sa rules, and correct me if I'm wrong, na ang pinaka-primary language na gagamitin during the trial is English. Sa pananaw niyo po ba, Prof, mas mainam po bang Tagalog na ang gamiting language sa pagdinig para mas lalong maraming mga kababayan ho natin ang makasubaybay at makaintindi sa mga pagdinig na magaganap po, lalo na dito sa impeachment trial?
Siguro mas mainam po na gawin nating halo But anyway, most of the Gen Zs are already proficient with both languages. And hindi na sigurado kasi kung Tagalog, talagang sabihin natin maiintindihan ng madlang people, lalo na yung hindi naman talaga primary Tagalog speakers. And it would be also problematic, lalong-lalo na sa side ng mga kapatid nating Bisaya na galing sa Visayas at Mindanao. Pag sabihin natin, gagamitin natin primarily Tagalog. So I think it should be both. Kasi anyway, the whole point here is that the information and formality should be maintained, but at the same time, people can at least feel and understand what they are trying to, what the whole process is trying to do. Kaya siguro mas mainam na it should be a combination of both.
Yeah.
Kung pwede nga lang sana, pati Bisaya, pwede. Kasi most of the supporters of Sara Duterte are coming from the Visayan and Mindanao region.
Sa target period po, Sir Amir, tatagal daw po ang impeachment ng 92 days. 62 days ang sa prosecution habang 30 days naman sa depensa. Halos kalahati lamang yung naibigay sa defense panel kaysa po prosecution. Ano po ang tingin niyo dito in terms of the capacity na masagot po ng depensa yung aligasyon?
Well, I think this is just part of the natural process of the particularly establishing the guilt of an accused. Kasi kung tutusin nga naman, nasa side talaga ng accuser to prove that, say, Vice President Sara Duterte is indeed guilty. And that's the reason why perhaps they were given more time. At saka yung doon din sa presentation ng nilista nila na magiging pwedeng maging witness, magte-testify, medyo madami-dami. Kaya that's siguro one of the reasons why it was the prosecution side was given more days. At saka kasi para mangyayari nga daw dyan, parang ang target nila is one witness per day. So kung madami ang nilista at ang dami talaga nilista ng prosecution panel, talagang kakainin nila yung malaking chunk ng 92 or 93 days.
Pero Prof, speaking of that 92 days, medyo gusto ko lang malinawan dito dahil feeling ko nga 92 days is really a long time to do the trial. Pero sa tingin niyo po ba may possibility pa na itong 92 days na to lalo pang maprolong kung hihilingin ng mga kampo na magpa-participate dito sa impeachment
Parang
trial?
kung kulang pa,
kung kulang pa.
Posible, lalo na kung halimbawa, kung sabihin natin magkaroon ng disruption because of natural calamities. Pero kung magkaroon din halimbawa, if you remember what happened to Joseph Estrada's time na nagkaroon din ng issue regarding the opening of the envelope. Kaso it led to exodus, sana hindi naman mantong doon. So it's possible talaga magkaroon ng disruption. But hopefully, we can follow the target days, parang kasi kung tutusin, ang pinaka-successful impeachment natin yung panahon ni Corona,
Yes.
halos ganun din po yung time frame mga 3 months or so. So hopefully ganun din sana at walang disruption na can actually impede the truth to come out.
Sinabi po ni 3rd District Manila Congressman Joel Chua na may mga pinayagan na pong public and private prosecutors na mag-participate po sa impeachment proceedings. Magiging malaking advantage po ba ito sa prosecution?
But to a certain degree, yes. Kasi siguro mas maganda nga yung combination ng private and public because of course it gives the private represents supposedly the private interests of the people. At the same time, they might be given more chance to actually study the issue or study the four articles. Kasi you also have to remember the side of the public prosecutors, they're also part of the legislature. So they're doing other stuff, particularly in terms of, creating and passing laws. So because of the inclusion of the private prosecutors, it actually gives a more, sabihin natin, distributed workload for all the prosecution side. So the combination of both is, I guess, is really an advantage for the prosecution.
Ngayon naman Prof, kanina nabanggit natin yung tungkol kay sa impeachment ni dating Pangulong Erap at nabanggit nga natin yung brown envelope. Ngayon naman, ang i-reveal naman dito Prof is yung sealed na BIR box. Ano ba yung meron bang significance ito? Would it be big or small lang yung significance nito? And do you think na yung magiging contents nitong box na to would be sufficient to either convict or acquit the Vice President?
Ay malaking bagay po yung kasi nandito nga po yung SALN tapos yung mga yung financial statements ng mag-asawang VP Sara and Attorney Carpio. And if totoo yung sinasabi ng accusation doon sa article 2 ba yun? I forgot kung article yung but kung this can be a good basis to actually prove na nagkataon talaga ng unexplained wealth yung mag-asawa. And to give credit to VP Sara in her camp, binigyan niya, I think they are already approved for its opening pero dapat ata executive session. So the opening of the box, because of the una-una binigyan ng pagkakataon na mag-go signal yung mag-asawa, would actually give sabihin natin provide the truth regarding the accusation. It can either prove or disprove what the prosecution is trying to present. And it's also a good way to finally put a seal on that accusation. Kung talaga bang lumago unexplainably yung kanilang wealth from 2007 and so on. At saka isa nga doon sa na-highlight nga na parang wala daw silang na final na cash the deposit ba if I remember correctly. Dito matutuldukan yung mga issue na yun And hopefully once it's open, sana it would finally put a period on that issue. Pero yun nga lang, pinakamalaking issue ngayon dito or problema ay kung papayagan yung hiling ni Atty. Capuna na gawing public. Pero I think that's highly improbable, lalong-lalo na sa rules ng BIR and dun sa sinabi ng kampo ni VP Sara.
Pero Prof, si Attorney Mans ay isa pong private person. So kapag binuksan itong BIR box, kasama po sa marireveal yung kanya pong mga record. Paano po kaya yung magiging pagtrato dito?
Well, I guess that's one of the problems of if you're married with two public official. Kasi I think joint ata yung statement nila, joint yung filing ng SALN. And pasama ata yun sa risk of you being part of a marriage that is wherein one is a public official, particularly holding a high position like the Vice President. So mukhang masasama yun sa it's information that will be presented in the court. Kaya siguro yun nga gusto nilang i-highlight ng defense panel na gawin na lang executive session siya.
Oo. Pero Prof, pag ganun ba, wala bang magiging paglabag sa karapatan naman ni Attorney Mans?
Well, I have to admit I'm not a lawyer, but I guess that's one of the risks of you being in a relationship or married to a public official. Kasi unang-una, ang SALN dapat ng official should be, if nasubina and you granted them access, should now be put on public display. Although hindi naman talaga full public display yun, it's more on the process of really determining what was the yung kung ano talagang yung sinasabi dun sa one of the articles of impeachment na talaga nagkaroon sila, they amassed a substantial amount of income from their time as public officials. Pero that's part of the risk of being married to an individual that is elected by the people.
Ayun. Ngayon naman, Prof, nabanggit ninyo yung tungkol sa articles of impeachment, and we all know that we have 4 na tatalakayin dito sa magiging impeachment trial. Out of the 4, Prof, what do you think? Ano po sa tingin ninyo yung may bigat dito at yung siguro mas dapat pagtuunan ng pansin ng both panels, both the prosecution and the defense, at ano yung sa tingin ninyo pupukaw sa interest ng ating mga kababayan dito sa 4 na articles na ito, Prof?
Siguro because of sabihin natin because of the potential drama that may sprout from it. Siguro isa sa pinaka maging controversial dito is the opening of the BIR banks, kasi it would determine kung talagang meron talagang na-amass of yung illegal wealth yung mag-asawa. Pero in my opinion, isa sa pinaka-concerning na article na nakita ko dito, although some would say otherwise, is yung pangalawang ipipresent nila when I think that's Article 3, yung VP Sara threatened the officials and BBM.
Article 4.
Article 4,
Yes.
sorry. Yung yun nga, heinous threats.
Yung assassination plot.
Yes, because that can also be a potential security threat coming from the second highest position in the land. So the threat that she presented against the VP Sara for First Lady and si Representative Romualdez is really concerning. Kaya gusto ko makita dito kung anong magiging action doon. Kasi hindi naman siya pwedeng sabihin natin it's a simple freedom of speech, kasi you are holding a position of power. So you have the capacity to potentially act on it. I'm not saying you're going to act on it, but you're holding a position that has this credible level of power. Meron nga siyang confidential funds which is also concerning, yung paggamit niya ng confidential funds. Pero at least for me, the most concerning part here is how Article 4 is going to be act on. Pero actually, most of the articles have their own levels of merit. Lalo kung mapatunayan talaga based on the witnesses and the other basis of the other evidences that were presented by the prosecution.
Challenge yung Article 4 sa defense, no, Prof? Kasi hindi lang naman to basta lang post sa social media. Talagang may video. Narinig mismo sa bibig ng pangalawang Pangulo yung kanyang assassination plot umano sa Pangulo ba, sa First Lady, tsaka kay dating House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
And let me add, this will also be a precedent for other elected officials to utilize the argument of freedom of speech, lalo na paano pag you turn your focus to a regular individual. Ano ba, nag-post halimbawa isang governor or mayor na papatayin ko si ganito kasi pinipwisit ako. Tapos pag criticize siya, tapos pwedeng kasuhan, sabi niya, it's part of freedom of speech. May precedent na.
Yes. Isa rin po sa usapin, Prof, no, yung talagang doon pa lang sa pagdinig sa House Committee on Justice, talagang marami na yung nanggigigil, marami na yung gustong dumalo si BP Sara ng personal doon po sa mga pagdinig. At isa din sa tinitingnan ngayon, inaabangan, kung personal bang haharap sa paglilitis ito pong si BP Sara. Para po sa inyo, Prof, mas makakabuti bang dumalo siya ng personal, lalo't sa House hearings dati, wala po siya ni isang pinuntahan dahil pinag-question po ng pangalawang Pangulo yung jurisdiction nito?
Mas mainam siguro na talagang appear siya. Kasi at least gives more credibility in the whole process. At the same time, it really gives the opportunity to for her side to actually present herself, defend herself. Particularly, you have to remember the impeachment court is not really of ordinary court. It's also a court of, but it's a political exercise. Okay? Sabihin natin na it's when you present yourself to or defend yourself, okay, you're also getting the probable sympathy coming from the people. Okay? Kasi the worst case scenario, pinaka-worst case scenario dito is just being removed from office, you'll be barred from running again, okay? But hindi ka naman makukulong. Kaya malaki din yung advantage para sa kanya to actually maintain his level of credibility. Lalo malakas pa naman ang kanyang position in terms of the approval ratings. Kaya siguro it would help her side, okay, particularly in the eyes of the public, if she'll be able to present and defend herself. Parang ginawa ni Justice Corona. I mean, Corona was vilified by a lot of people, but you have to give credit to the late Justice because he was there. Although, talagang magaling din naman talaga si Justice Corona, the fairness. He was there and he was courageous enough to actually face the senator judges.
Ngayon naman, Prof, figuratively, kung matatanda po nyo, sinabi natin ni VP Sara na yung word na bloodbath, inassociate niya yung word na bloodbath, magiging bloodbath daw po itong mangyayari na impeachment na nangangahulugan anyang sariling sakripisyo po sa proseso. Ano yung dapat na maipaliwanag ng malinaw para ma-redeem siya nung alegasyon?
Well, kasi parang dumadating sa kanya, it's more of a political assassination. Kaya lumalabas para sinisiraan siya because there's a fear that there's another Duterte that would come in 2028 and some of her critics do not want that to happen. Kaya parang sa tingin niya, sa kampo niya, it's really a systemic attempt to actually remove her from the probability of being the president. And that's the reason why it's very, very important to her side to actually be there to project or at least protect her credibility. Kasi sabihin natin ma-convict siya, okay? But as long as the people see her as a credible leader, okay, she can still wield power, particularly in terms of, number one, pwedeng she may have a say in terms of promoting the potential candidate that would run for 2028. And her approval can really help that person kung sino mamapili niya, okay, to gain office. Number two, it's also a good way to actually maintain the or protect at least the so-called legacy of the Dutertes. Kahit sabihin natin, madami nag-criticize against the Dutertes, but if you look at the approval ratings, mataas pa rin. Kaya nasa kanya yung yung upper hand eh. Ang pangit lang kasi dito, lalo na pag hindi siya nag-appear, tapos na-turn yung time ng naratibo laban sa kanila, kahit hindi siya kahit ma-acquit siya, pero nasira ang pangalan niya, yung pangalang Duterte will become a poison for all probable candidates. Kasi ito din yung yung inaasahan ng sabihin natin the opposition. Kahit sabihin natin ma-acquit si Sara Duterte, but you actually ruin the credibility of the Dutertes, sa next cycle of election, maging liability tuloy yung pangalang Duterte.
Yes. May mga bali-balita po, Prof, no, na si Senator Francis Escudero yung magpe-preside sa hearing. Gayong ang SP po ay si Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. Ano po ang tingin niyo dito?
Well, sa tingin ko, it doesn't really matter. Unang-una, hindi naman talaga kailangan na abogado yung maging preside. Kasi unang-una, hindi naman talaga siya traditional court. It's more of political exercise. So, as long as there is an appointed individual to preside and basically control the whole procedure of the impeachment, it go smoothly. Hindi kailangan maging abogado doon. Pero in terms of the nitty-gritty rules and procedures, it might affect or it will become a factor, but the whole exercise of the impeachment, hindi mo kailangan talaga ng abogado doon. Either of the two, Senator Escudero man or Senator Gatchalian, okay lang yun. But if you're going to analyze it politically, mas malaki ang mawawala kay Escudero kung siya ang magiging doon. Hindi naman mawawala, at risk pala sa kanyang kasi that's his supposed opportunity to redeem himself, lalong na with the fiasco that he orchestrated last yung unang impeachment ni former Sara Duterte. Kaya kung siya man ang ma-appoint doon, mas pressured si Senator Escudero to actually prove his critics wrong. Kasi lalo yung naging lumabas doon sa court with issue na parang sinasabi niya, pinoprotektahan niya si VP Sara. Kaya politically, kung si Senator Escudero ang mamumuno doon, medyo mataas ang pressure in his side to maintain this level of unbiased position, unlike to prove his critics wrong. At lalo-lalo na, it's very, very essential for him to present that or to do that kasi ang baba ng approval rating niya.
Oo.
At I think subject siya for re-election kung tatakbo siya sa 2028.
Saka, Prof, madagdag ko lang kasi 'di ba, umani din siya ng batikos doon sa naging pag-alis niya sa minority.
Yes, isa din yun. So, parang lumalabas, balimbing ka.
Oo.
So, talagang mas pressured si Senator Escudero kung siya ang maging presiding officer. So kay Senator Win naman, as expected, siya kasi Senate President. So, I think wala masyadong ano sa kanya. Pero kung yun nga, kung kay Senator Escudero, ibigay yung posisyon na yun, o he would face this level of pressure and to prove himself. Lalo-lalo na, ang pinaka-importanting factor dyan ay kung tatakbo pa siya sa 2028 at kung mananalo siya.
Ayun. Kaya karamihan sa mga napag-usapan natin, Prof, is talagang naka-wait and see mode lang tayo hanggat mag-convene itong Senate Impeachment Court mamayang 2:00. Prof, meron na lang po ba kayo mga parting message o paalala at gustong ipabatid sa ating mga listeners, sa ating mga ka-music, lalo't in a couple of hours or more than an hours from now, magsisimula na nga ang unang araw ng paglilitis ng impeachment trial kay VP Sara. Any message para sa ating mga kababayan na siguro ma-convince na rin siguro yung iba sa kanila na kung wala man silang interest pa so far na tumutok at subaybayan tong impeachment, maybe this is a proper time para ipaalam o i-remind siguro sa kanila yung message po ninyo, Prof, lalo na for the impeachment.
Siguro isang importante mensahe na pwede ko ibigay sa ating mga nakikinig at siguro nanonood, streaming man to. I think this is stream, right? Is that kahit hindi kayo interesado sa politika or kahit mapa-BBM man kayo o mapasara man kayo, you should be getting your information directly from legitimate and credible sources. Mas maganda siguro kayo mismo manood diretso doon sa proceedings, hindi yung kayo mag-consume lang sa pre-packaged, pre-digested content na nanggagaling sa mga content creators. Be it coming from both sides. Kasi mas maganda na sa inyo, sa kanila direct na galing yung yung information, hindi yung pre-packaged. At saka, we always have to remember na kahit anong mangyari dito, ma-quit man or ma-convict, the most important thing here is that the process and the process should be followed. Kasi the last thing we need is another EDSA, because an extra-constitutional activity or event like EDSA 1 and 2 has a longer negative impact rather than the short-term negative impact that would occur from, say, an acquittal or a conviction from impeachment court. Kasi part yun ng constitutional exercise. Kaya sana mas, una-una, dapat mas mapanuri tayo sa information at sana let's get our information directly from credible sources. And number two, let's hope and support democracy as a system. Di naman natin kailangan na pag yung manok natin ay naagrabyado, sisirain natin yung buong cockpit. Diba? Kung sa konteksto ng sabong. Okay? Let's just accept what the result would come out, kung anong maglumabas. So hopefully the people would be more interested but at the same time discerning in terms of the information that they're going to accept and the actions that they potentially do. Yun lang po.
Maraming salamat po, Prof. Amir, sa pagsama po sa amin yung umaga na ito.
Thank you din po. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yan, nakasama natin mga kanyusik, ang political analyst na si Professor Amir Solon Sison. Agree ako dun sa sinabi ni Prof. Amir, no, na dapat talaga subaybayan natin para tayo mismo yung nakaka-witness kung paano umuusad yung paglilitis, nagkakaroon ba ng fair trial, 'di ba? At hindi yung nagko-consume na lang tayo dun sa pre-package ng ibinibigay sa ating impormasyon, no. At saka number one diyan, kung halimbawa man sobrang busy at hindi mo talaga masusubaybayan, doon ka lang ko-consume ng information doon sa mga legit sources talaga, 'di ba? At katulad niyan sa mga media, 'di ba? Mga legit sources ng information. At mahirap na syempre sa social media, marami ng fake news, 'di ba?
Oo, tsaka yung mga nasa social media, gaya nga na nasabi ni Prof kanina, yung mga pre-package minsan doon pa nga nagsisimula mismo yung misinformation at disinformation na nakukonsume ng ating mga kababayan na nakikinig, nakatutok sa ating ngayon, na ultimong mabasa lang ay ito na kagad yun. So may nangyari na pala kagad imbis na na tutukan muna dun sa mga legit at credible information sources, inuuna na yung pre-package. It's, sabi ko nga kanina, diba, sa simula pa lang, iba na po ang may alam ngayon. At kung talagang tututukan natin, mas maiintindihan po natin kung ano ba talaga yung punot dulo ng lahat ng mga akusasyon na ibinabato po sa ating Vice Presidente.